Hello, Coach Michael here from Rick411.com, and welcome back to Instagram Bootcamp Day 3. Today we're going to be talking all about how to create scroll-stopping, eye-popping content. Of course, Instagram is a visual platform, so if you want people to have their eyes on your photos, you need to figure out what they want to be looking at. Now, I remember when I first started using Instagram, I actually used it because I liked the filters. I had no interest in the community, the people on it. I was just like, hey, I want that cool little Ludwig filter, or that hi-fi was really cool. And then I figured out that there's actually people on there. So the first trick that I want to share with you, this is kind of a little bonus. This is what if you want to create a picture and you want to use the Instagram filters, but you don't want to post it to Instagram. Is there a way that you can really easily just use that and download it directly to your scroll? Yes, there is. And here is your first step. I'm just going to show you this and then I'll tell you what we're going to be doing. If you go to Instagram and you take your picture, let's see, I'll turn this around. Okay, here's the trick. I'm going to put my phone on airplane mode. Ooh, actually with the screen share, I don't know if it's going to work. But if you put your phone on airplane mode, then you make all of your edits and you share it to Instagram. It's going to fail to post, but it will automatically put it in your camera roll on your phone. I'm going to take off my airplane mode, and hopefully this doesn't screw up the demonstration. I might have to restart my screen share. We're gonna restart the screen share. Okay, did not plan for that. Awesome. Great, okay, now we're back. Great, so that was your first tip. So what I'd like to do is actually walk through some of my favorite apps, really the top 11 apps that I've used. Some of them I use a lot more frequently than others, but these are, oh, hi Christina. These are the main ones that I use. Now the very first one that I think is really great, and my hubby just came in. The very first one that I think is a fantastic photo editing app, it has beautiful effects, is actually Instagram. The Instagram app itself is incredible. So I want to kind of walk through exactly what I do that helps to brighten pictures up and just show you the difference. So I'm going to take a selfie right now. Let's turn around. Oops. Da, 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 da. Okay, turn the camera around. Get some good lighting. Smile. Oh, that's kind of blurry. Let's try that again. If you tap on the photo, it helps to focus. Just like that. Okay, so the first thing that I like to do is this little sun in the middle, this little contrast. If you move it to one side or the other, it creates a really different contrast effect. Actually, it's kind of nice all the way over. Or I could look like I have blonde hair there. We'll do that. Then you press the check mark. Now, down on the bottom are all of the main filters, and you are welcome to use any of those. You can actually, now that you can adjust the intensity of the filters, for example, if I go into Lark and tap it on the second time, I can change the intensity of how much that effect is going to be there, and then you press the check. Sometimes I do that. However, I actually really like using the manual adjustments, which is this wrench on the right side. I like to increase my brightness a little bit. I like to give myself a little bit more contrast. If you do the structure, it's not great on faces because it makes you look old. Look at that. However, I like to do a little bit of structure on some food pics because it increases the crispness of it. Or if you have like a body shot, like showing a muscle flex, and you don't have your face in it, then a little structure actually looks pretty good. For me personally, I like all of my photos. I kind of branded them this way. I like them to have a little bit more warmth on it. So if you go too far, or if you go to the left, that makes it more blue. I like to add a little bit of warmth to it. Let's make sure we're good here. Okay. For saturation, sometimes I'll add just a little hint if I feel like I'm pale. If you go too far, then it goes crazy. So just a little hint. By the way, for any of these adjustments, you can do a little A-B comparison and see what you like. For example, if I go to structure, turn it all the way up, whoops, and I have the structure tab open, if I tap on the picture, then it shows what it's like without the effect. Untap, tap, like that. If I want to cancel it, I just press the X. We're going to take all that out. Okay. I typically don't do anything with the color. With the fade, personally, I don't really do a lot of that. It kind of makes it a little vintage, but that's not really part of my brand. For highlights, I'll do a little bit of highlight to brighten it up, usually right around there. And for shadows, I like to take it down a little bit. If you go far, that's what it looks like. You can make myself look like I have blonde hair and blue eyes that way. Actually, let's try that. It's kind of fun. Vignette is a way to darken the edges of it, like that. Sometimes it's nice just to give a little bit of focus there. Tilt shift is that blur. You can have two options. There's the radial option, and you can move this around, kind of create a sense of focus. And you can pinch to make that bigger or smaller. And then there's the linear option of like that. Personally, I don't really use the tilt shift that much. Sharpen, if you go all the way, it creates just a lot more definition. If you got little wrinkles, then it's going to bring those out. But if I put it up just a little bit, it creates a little bit of extra crisp edge. So these are all of the manual edits that I've made. And if I touch on the screen, then it's going to show A-B comparison of the way it started to the way it is now. So that's the way it started, and that's where it is now. Now, the second one is a lot brighter. There's a lot more warm colors in it. Personally, I think that's a lot more interesting, and it's probably going to be more scroll stopping. But I try to do my filters in such a way that it's really there to enhance rather than to say like, oh, wow, he put a bunch of filters on it. You know, for this, it just looks like I had a really great lighting. Now, if you want to use any of the preset filters in addition to these manual ones, sometimes I'll do that as well. I like Slumber, personally, brings out a beard. Crema is good as well. Sometimes X-Pro is good. Lo-Fi can be pretty good if you take the intensity down a little bit, like that. Inkwell is probably my preferred black and white filter, and then Hefe is also really good if you just reduce the intensity a little bit like that. So I'm gonna go back to normal and we'll end there. So that's a quick run through of what I do with the Instagram filters. Now, the next, I'm gonna, bye-bye. I'm gonna reduce that. The next app that I wanna show you, this is kind of weird, is called it's called Layout. Now this is an app that was actually bought by Instagram, and it is a really easy collaging app. No, we all have a bunch of different collaging apps. If you want to do something really fast, this is the best one. They've actually integrated it within Instagram so that if you go to your library and you tap in the bottom right corner, then it will go automatically to Layout, and you can literally tap on as many pictures as you like, I think up to a certain point. And at the top, it gives you different options of how it's going to be formatting those pictures. Select this one, and you can change the shape. You can do a little mirror to go back and forth. You can even include borders as well. So when people do like a really cool split screen mirror effect, this is a really easy way to do that. So that is Layout. The next app that I want to show you is my favorite app for adding text really easily, and it's Fonto. And I'll just show you real quickly how this works. I'm going to go to my photo albums, go to Moments, and let's do our little selfie here. You've got a bunch of different effects that you can put on it. I usually don't use that much. You can also crop it to be square, so that it fits into the traditional layout for Instagram, and done. And if you tap on the screen somewhere, it gives you the option of adding text. hello. And we can do a bunch of things to this text. If you go to style, you can create different text styles. Change the spacing, change the stroke, which is the outline. You can even put a little bit of a background. You can do alpha to make it transparent. So you can do a bunch of things with that. Change the size. You can change the tilt as well. But anyway, that's just a super simple way to add text to photos that I really like. The next one that I want to show you is Word Swag. This is a really great app for creating inspirational photos. People are answering a poll. You can either take a picture or go to your library. Your camera rolls at the top, or you have a bunch of different backgrounds that you could use. Let's say we want to create some sort of inspirational post. I'm going to double tap on the text. This app actually gets preloaded with some inspirational sayings. So you can do that, or you can write your own. Nothing is easy or hard, just familiar or unfamiliar. And at the bottom, we have all sorts of different styles of text. And if you click on the dice, then it changes some formatting of that text. You can change the color of the text. You can adjust different things about the picture and also add various filters. And when you're done, it gives you the option of sharing it directly to Instagram. It does save it directly to your camera roll as well. So that's Word Swag, really cool stuff. The next one that I want to show you is a paid app. Most of these are free, but this one was paid because it's awesome, and it's Enlight. This is probably so deep that you could do, I don't know, a whole other boot camp on just Enlight. But this is actually a picture that I made. I used Enlight, and there's a way of layering two photos on top of each other and changing it so it's transparent. You can, let's see, it has a bunch of amazing filters as part of it. And it has a really cool interface where if you want to change the intensity of the filter, you just swipe left or right. So I'm not going to go into everything here just because there's, thanks so much. But I will say, let's see, there's the tools. Artistic is kind of cool. Some more filters there. Painting, sketch. Make it look like it was hand-drawn. Anyway, so there's a million different things that you can do with that. You can also add text, and you can make memes as well. So that is Enlight. I paid $4 for that, and it's completely worth it. The next one is Rona. This is such a beautiful app. Of course, let's see, let's do our camera roll. Let's do Dropbox. Oh. Okay, loading photo. Okay, had a little photo shoot. Let's crop this into a square. Here you can add text, and it has a lot of awesome different fonts. You can have different colors, double tap to say hello, and choose different fonts. Super cool fonts. And then when you're done, you just tap done. You can also add little pictures on top of it, and just really create some really cool stuff. Change the color of the picture, do a bunch of stuff like that. You can change transparency of each item as well, and then when you're done, you can share it, and share it to Instagram or to any other platform. I'm going to cancel out of that. So that is Rona. The next one I want to show you is Color Splash. This is an app that you can use to create that effect where everything is black and white except for one thing. I'm going to resume my last session. This is a picture that I used with this effect. And just really quickly, you have these options of color or gray. Right now my color is set, and wherever I swipe, it returns the color back to that area. You can undo, and then if you select on gray, then the very same thing happens there. You can also select for specific colors that it will either wipe out or add back into your photo. Really cool stuff. The next one is Pick, Play, Post. This is an awesome app where you can combine video and picture. You pick a layout, and then this is actually going to bring up a photo that I already did, where I was demonstrating a move, and I used word swag to create a picture, which is the title of the move that I'm doing, and then I took a video and imported it into the top square of it. You can add music at the bottom. You can also change style of borders and things like that. And if you preview, oops, I don't know if that's gonna, I don't know why the sound's not coming through, but here I am demonstrating one of the moves. I got this idea from Melissa McAllister, where she does these really cool photos or Instagram posts where she's split screen, and in one side she's demonstrating a move, and on the other side she's explaining the move and explaining the benefits of it. I know that she's gotten a lot of really great traction out of that. So that's Pick, Play, Post. Next app is VSCO, VSCO. This is yet another app that has some pretty cool filters. I did a little model shoot there. And here you can change a bunch of different filters and add various kinds of effects as well. Create a little skew, things like that. So VSCO also has like a social network community that's a part of that as well. Next app is PixArt. Cool stuff here. Let's take a camera, let's take a selfie. Flip this around. This is really cool because it actually adds a filter live. Right there. Say yes, I want to keep that. And then you can add various effects and add other photos, blurs, things like that. Okay, and my final app that I want to show you is not really a photo editing app intentionally, but it's an app that you're going to see a lot of photos come from that end up on Facebook as well as on Instagram, and that's Snapchat. This is a whole other social media platform. In fact, we might do a Snapchat bootcamp sometime in the future. I've been using this, and it's been one of the best ways of creating authentic one-on-one community with people to show you that we are actual real people in kind of everyday life. So you can use both the front camera and the back camera. If you double tap on it, let's create a little selfie here. There we go. So you can add various kinds of emojis on it, which you can pinch and drag. If you tap on the T, that's to add text. Hello from the other side. If you tap on the T again, it makes it big and left justified. You can change the orientation and the size. And if you tap on it again, then it also centers. Now, my text is white going over my white shirt. So what if I want to change the color of that text? Tap on the text, and then at the top right, I can scroll on my finger to change the color of the text. Let's make this blue, and done. right there. If you tap on the top right, this little pencil, then you can actually draw on it. Tap on the pencil again to go back. Next, you can swipe to the left to put some different filters on it. It has very limited filters, these different colors, and then you can also add how fast you're going for everybody who should not be Snapchatting and driving, the temperature, the time, and then various geo locations. I'm here in Chicago. I got my own ornament. Now, once you have a picture that you like, then if you tap on this little down arrow chevron in the bottom left corner, then that will put that into your camera roll. Okay, I want to show you one other cool thing with Snapchat, and it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of weird, it's kind of stupid, but it's kind of fun. If you have the, I guess it works on both cameras now. But if you tap and hold on a face, then it should do a little analysis of that face. And we have what Snapchat calls lenses. And there's no sound in this now for some reason. We froze. Oh, I took a picture. So we have all these lenses of these things that do kind of special effects like that. And honestly, it's really stupid, but it's kind of fun actually. So you can actually take a picture or a video of yourself with any of the lenses by just tapping on the circle where the lens is. Like that. And then I can tap on text and say, baby, it's cold outside. And then swipe over and find my temperature. And then you can save that to your camera roll, and then you can share that anywhere. So that's Snapchat. Now, I do want to say, overall, now that you've looked at all of these different apps of ways to manipulate photos, have fun with it, play around. There's no right or wrong answer for that. But in the end, personally, I believe that less is more. And we don't want to come across like you're trying really hard. Sometimes if it, hold on, my dog's going crazy. Okay, sorry about that. Sometimes I feel like if you are coming across like you're slapping 11 different filters onto your picture and it just comes across like it's unrelatable, like you're really stuck on yourself or something. Like if you do that a lot, every once in a while, once you have momentum, people know who you are, it's kind of fun. But careful with this, like don't go crazy. Okay, so next I want to talk about different kinds of posts. And I think I can take this off of my screen share now. Okay, so different kinds of posts, and I'll have that in the comments below, but there are so many different kinds of posts that you can make. There's selfies, there's candids, you can pose things, posts of food, nature, questions, like asking a question about from your followers, which is why I'm getting all these notifications, artistic photos, A/B questions like, should I wear these shoes or those shoes? People love that. Honestly, one of my most engaged photos was I was trying to decide what kind of haircut to get at one point, and I posted 4 squares of me with different haircuts and asked people to help me decide which one I should get. And it got like hundreds and hundreds of opinions. If there's one thing that social media, people on social media like, it's giving their opinion. So give them an opportunity to give their opinion, and you're going to get a ton of engagement. Make a call to action. If it's joining this Instagram bootcamp, then you can talk about that. Workout transformations are awesome. Like if it's your own, that is the best. If it's somebody else that's on your team, that's cool too. I typically don't share a lot of the corporate workout transformations that are like labeled and logoed with the company, just because it's not really me. It's not really about me. And Instagram, social media really should, like, people are here to understand who you are, not just a company. Um, Another kind is a workout demo, like I showed you with those push-ups. And you can either do like just a demo, or you can do like a tutorial, kind of like what Melissa McAllister, if you go to Melissa Made on her Instagram, she has a bunch of those. The next thing that I want to consider is what is best, a picture or a video. Now, as of about a year and a half ago, Instagram started allowing 15-second videos. And I use both. I think both are awesome, and they're different ways to engage with your following. One thing to keep in mind is videos will always get less engagement as far as likes. There's something that goes on with the psyche where if somebody takes the time to watch 15 seconds of a video, they typically don't double tap on it after they've finished viewing the content. However, don't be discouraged. That does not mean that you should not post videos, because I think videos are an even better way for people to really understand who you are. So feel free to post pictures and videos. Now, as of a couple months ago, Instagram is expanding its aspect ratio, so it's no longer just the iconic square, the Instagram square. Now they're allowing other aspect ratios, and you can pinch and pull your pictures and your videos into the different aspect ratios. So one thing to consider is if you can use the same aspect ratio for all of your content, that's just going to create a really nice unified look throughout your entire page, rather than kind of this or that and kind of being random about it. So something to consider there. As you're posting pictures, it's important to consider both how this one picture looks in and of itself, and how the whole collection, how your page looks when somebody goes to your page. I've been to some pages where, while we all understand that selfies get the most likes, that's just proven. I'll talk about that more in a second. That does not mean that every single one of your pictures should be selfies, because if they go to your profile and they see it's a bunch of you looking the same way, then it's not very interesting, unless you're like super, super hot. So go for a variety, and really try to get different perspectives of who you are in your life. The next thing to consider is when should you post and how often should you post. Now, there are some tools that I'll show you in a couple days that will show scientifically when you should post. Specifically, because we all have different communities that are on social media at different times. However, I will say that in general, morning time, an afternoon time like around lunchtime, and an evening time around 8 p.m. And even with Instagram, it can be later because people are scrolling through when they go to bed. So like 8 to 10:30 p.m. is generally the times when most people are on social media, Monday through Thursday. Weekends are kind of weird, and Fridays usually people are out. So keep those things in mind. Try to post when there's the most people on social media. Now, how frequently should you be posting? In the beginning, when you are first pushing your Instagram, I believe that you should be posting about 2 to 3 times a day. So if you do a morning, afternoon, and evening post, that's great. That's going to show people that you are active, you're in the community, and that you are really generating some content. Now, once you've got some momentum, and things are really building and growing, I don't think you have to be as frequent or as regimented. However, it's just like looking at a billboard. It's just a reminder that that product or business is there. That's what it is every time that you post. It's just a reminder that you exist. It reminds me of, now that when we watch TV, of course there's the commercials that happen during the commercial breaks, but now if you look at the network TV especially, you'll be watching your show, and while the show's going on, at the bottom of the screen, there's like a little promo for the next show or for something that's coming up next week, because they know that the more times you see something, the more you're going to remember it. That's the same thing with Instagram as well. Now, caution, do not upload a bunch of photos all at once, like all in a row, because it comes across kind of weird. If you're gonna upload, if you're gonna do 3 posts a day, then spread them out throughout the day. With one caveat, right now we're going to be kind of building our Instagram, and one of the assignments with 5 really great photos. So, if you have 5 really great photos and you need to do them all at one time, go ahead and do that. However, if you can, space it out over like 30 minutes or an hour or so. Balancing your posts. So if you're branding as a business, your page should be singularly focused. It should be just about your product. However, for most of us who are branding ourselves as people, even though we may have a business and we're using Instagram for a business, I'm still branding as a person. I believe that it's best to post within your 3 to 5 niches. This is really connected to your avatar and the bio that you created yesterday. For me, it's music, muscles, motivation, my 3 M's. So let's talk about the whole idea of selfies. Now, I know a couple years ago, there was a big scandal that the word selfie was picked as the word of the year by Merriam-Webster Dictionary. And everybody was all up in arms, like, this is our culture, and it's the Kim Kardashian culture. I can't believe we've talked about Kardashians this many times within our Instagram bootcamp. They're doing something right. But I read something really interesting in, actually it's the How to Fascinate book by Sally Hogshead, and she talked about this special power of facial recognition, which is what the selfie is. It's of your face. She talked about that babies, very, very early in their development, they learn facial recognition. Like, they can track where their mother's face is, and if she moves, the baby is going to follow with her. And that is just this really ingrained thing about us, that when we look at a person, we look at their face. When we try to identify who a person is, we look at their face, in particular their eyes. The eyes are so, so powerful. So if you are posting pictures of your cat or a piano or a tree or all food pictures, those are okay. But if you really want to get people to stop, they want to see you. And by you, I mean your face. So don't be afraid of selfies. Don't be afraid of using that facial recognition. It's very, very powerful. For our activities for today, what I'd like for you to do, first of all, after you watch this video, is scroll through your own feed and look to see what kind of posts get the most engagement, comments, and likes. And go ahead and comment in the thread below here what you notice. The next thing is I want you to make a schedule of when you'll be posting and set alarms on your phone so that it will remind you, that it'll say like, hey, post a Instagram pic. That way, over the rest of this week, you can really start to get in that practice of thinking on that level. The next thing that I want you to do is download at least 2 of the apps that I described and start playing with them. Then the next thing is I want you to comment below with any additional apps that you love, because there's a gajillion out there, and so many are awesome. And then finally, I would like actually not finally, the next thing is select one of the categories of types of posts. I talked about it here, and then it's also in the comments below. And I'd like for you to make an intentionally bad version of that post and an intentionally good version of that post. A lot of times with my students, I think it's such a valuable exercise to try to do the wrong thing first so you can really see what that feels like and what it looks like, and then do the opposite of that for the right thing. And of course, when you're posting it, post the right thing, not the wrong thing. But I want you to see this A-B comparison of what's bad and what's good. And include those two in the comments below. In fact, if you can use layout and put them side by side, turn airplane mode on your phone, and then share it to Instagram so it fails and it loads directly to your camera roll, you can put both of those stitched together. The next thing that I'd like for you to do is clean up your profile. If you look through your profile and you see that there are a bunch of really bad pictures, remove them. They don't need to be there. If you have just started your Instagram, then this is an opportunity for you to build your Instagram. So what I'd like for you to do is load your profile with at least 5 great pictures or videos. And if you already have a bunch of pictures, you can make these your next 5. Just make sure that when somebody opens up your page and they look at that full first screen, it shows like the top 9 or 12 photos, depending on how big your phone is. Make sure that those are the pictures that are really, really good. And then finally, as we're putting all of these pictures on Instagram, let's go ahead and use a hashtag together. Let's use the hashtag Instagram Bootcamp, so that way we can really easily find each other's photos. If you go to the search function and then search hashtag Instagram Bootcamp. And that way we can kind of see what's going on among us, and we can see what's working and maybe what is not working. So that is the content for today. Tomorrow we'll be talking all about hashtags, like I just alluded, the good, the bad, and the ugly. What do you need, and what is working and what's not working. So I hope you have a great day, and I look forward to your posts.